Welcome in to the Rookie Mistakes Podcast. I am your host, Trace for Days, and this is the Major Mistakes Dynasty League. We're going to talk about the matchups, as always. I didn't get videos this week from anybody. I did send a few out. I got nothing back. It's okay. It is what it is. I'm sorry about missing last week. I just have a lot of stuff going on right now. It's not really the best of times, so I'm trying to do a lot. So apologies on that, but I'll probably end up making it up towards the end of the year. I'll do like a farewell episode or something, or I'll do like a upcoming rookies draft episode to make up for it. I was gonna say that I'm not gonna do team breakdowns, but I did want to do this for once. If I come across somebody that I had a personal take on that specific player, I'll tell you like whether or not that I was right about it to this point, right to this point in the season. If I was pretty right on, and I definitely will let you know that there's some players here that I was very wrong on. And I promise you there's receipts out there from everybody. I know Hugo's got some. Austin P's probably got a lot. Just things that we were talking about before the season started. And then we kind of, now we're seeing what those players turned out to be. So you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. I will like to toot my own horn a little bit here. I was more right than wrong on a lot of these players, and but the ones that I was wrong on, I was probably far, far wrong. So it probably is kind of a take it as you will. Our first matchup, we have Booty Pleasures, Josh Malone. 146 points on the week. Very nice. He is 5-6 on the season, sitting in the 7th spot of week 11. Sorry about that if I didn't already mention. Jaden Daniels on his team, 14.4. CMC, 14.6. Alvin Kamara, 12. Tyreek Hill, 19. I had some takes on Tyreek. I thought he was, for some reason, going to repeat what he did last year. That was not the case. I mean, there is situational things like Tua getting hurt and things like that, and he might be coming into his own finally. Terry McLaurin with 2 points. If you know, I drafted Jaden Daniels a lot in most of leagues. But for some reason, I was pretty high on him, but it was mostly because of rushing upside. I did not see McLaurin coming alive. I don't know why, but I didn't see it. And I'm kind of, this week he didn't, obviously with 2 points. But for the most part of the season, he's surprised me. Cole Kmet, I've just never been high on the guy. I don't know why. 7 points this week. Chase Brown, one player I definitely want to point out. I got a lot of backlash because I said Chase Brown, and it's a lot of people, that Chase Brown is going to take over this backfield, and he will be the guy. And a lot of people shot me down and said Zach Moss is the better pass protector, albeit maybe he is. I don't know, but I already knew that this was going to happen. Chase Brown was going to take over this backfield, and he was the guy. He was the more talented back, and I'll toot my horn there. I was right on that one. To this point, I know Zach Moss started the season very early on, making me look wrong. But I did say, if Zach Moss has the backfield, he will lose it. So I want to check that one on myself here. Jameson Williams, 22.6. Didn't really have a take on him. Jared Goff, 34. Great week. He's looked good. Derek Carr, 18. On your bench. Amari Cooper, 7.5 on your bench. Christian Watson, 19 on your bench. And that was all. You won this week against Viagra Warriors, Pedro Marin. 5-6 on the season, sitting in the 6th spot, just ahead. Not anymore. He did lose this week. No, never mind. Never mind. These are already calculated numbers. My bad. It's just weird when you look at the numbers and it's already sitting in there. You had 102 points on the week. Not a great week. You had Jameis Winston, 26.6 points. Obviously, couldn't make an early season prediction, but I did let a lot of people know that Winston is fantasy relevant. Sucks in real life. I'll give you that. Probably not going to win you a lot of games, but he is going to possibly win you some fantasy weeks, by God. Aaron Jones, 5.3. My only take on him was injury concerns. I didn't think he'd make it very long, but he's still at it. Aaron Jones, I mean, he's had some down weeks, but looks good. Derrick Henry, 10. I didn't really have much of a take. It's Derrick Henry. I didn't think age was a concern, so there's that. Nico Collins, 9.4. I did have a very, very important take against Austin here. And now, again, with injury concerns and things like that, I did say Nico Collins was the number one receiver on this team. And a lot of people said, no, he's like the 1A to Tank Dell's 2A or whatever, however you want to phrase that. I didn't think so. I thought Nico Collins was by far and away ahead, the better receiver here. I know Tank Dell has a relationship with Stroud, but I think I was right on that one to this point. Now, I could be wrong going on, the second half of the season. Things could always change, but to this point, I think I was pretty good on that one. Kelsey, 2.8. Getting older, but not much of a take. Didn't do much this week. Rico Dowdle, 5. Jerry Jeudy, 26. He's coming on strong. Of course, it did take them starting to play Winston, so there's that. Aaron Rodgers, 16 on your Superflex spot. I don't think I had much of a take on him, so he is what it is. On your bench, Curtis Samuel, 16.8. Zach Ertz, 18. Hunter Henry, 12.3. And that was all. Good win, booty pleasures. Love it. Next matchup, we have Riley Reid option Austin Mendel, who is 10-1 on the season in the first spot with 134 points on the week versus 117 points by Tristan Ransom, team name Ransom, 8-3 on the season, sitting in the second spot. That was a pretty good duke out there. I know that sucks to lose, when you're trying to catch the guy. That would have been a nice, to tide you up. But still, yeah, you're up in the top 2. Can't really complain. That's a good season for anybody. Austin's team had Josh Allen with 24, Bijan 10, David Montgomery 24. I don't think I had any takes really on any of these guys. I mean, they are who they are. Jordan Addison 15, Juwan Jennings 25, very nice. Darnell Mooney 4.7, CeeDee Lamb 18.6. He's had some up and downs, but so does that old. I mean, really, that whole Dallas team has just been on the downs. Sorry, any Dallas fans out there. I don't mean to take shots, but I am a Steelers fan, and I'm feeling pretty good. On your bench, you had Kyler Murray on bye. I did have a take. I did think he was going to be much better to this point of the season. He's coming on strong here towards the end, or second half of the season. So there's time will tell, but he did not look very well at the start of the season. At least fantasy relevant. Wasn't really putting up the numbers you'd like to see. You had Gardner Minshew, 18.9 on your bench. Roshan, 11.1. Xavier Worthy, 16.8. He's been one of those guys that's been up and down and up and down. Like he has some games. He reminds me a lot of like a Tyler Lockett. You're going to have weeks where Tyler Lockett can give you numbers that, I wouldn't say weak winning numbers, but numbers that make you feel pretty good about starting him. But you just don't know when. He's one of those guys you don't know when. It is what it is. Dallas Goedert, 11.1. He's one of those guys, beginning of the season, I thought was just trash, was doo-doo. They had too many guys on that offense. They brought in Saquon. They got a quarterback that is, a dual threat. I just didn't think he'd be very good. And I think, for the most part, at least the start of the season, he started really great. He got hurt, and that's kind of what derailed him a little bit. But for the most part, every game he's played has almost been double digits, besides his first two. So he's been a lot better than I would have anticipated. And that was all. Ransom's team. He had Lamar Jackson, 15.8. I wouldn't have expected a back-to-back MVP campaign. He's on track to win MVP again. Him and Josh Allen. I would say you throw Derrick Henry in there, but we all know it's a quarterback award. It always happens. Jahmyr Gibbs, 19.3. Ramondre Stevenson, 12.9. Garrett Wilson, 5.8. I had a lot of takes on Garrett Wilson. I thought he was going to be a top 5 receiver. Which he is. But you're just not happy about it. I don't know what it is. He's top 5 receiver fantasy-wise. But gosh, it's just not fun. It's not fun to watch. I don't like watching the Jets. I do not like the Jets. I just think I want to take that back a little bit. I don't think it's the Jets I don't like. I think it's Aaron Rodgers I don't like. I don't like Aaron Rodgers anymore. He wants to bring all of his old buddies along, and then what? Try to get them relevant again, and then it's just not happening. God, I don't know. It's frustrating to watch those games. I hate watching the Jets games now. With so much talent there, and you don't even want to freaking view it. Zay Flowers, 11.9. So on the Garrett Wilson track, sorry about that. I'm right to this point, but it's just not fun. It's upsetting that I'm actually right, but which is weird. Zay Flowers, 11.9. I didn't have much of a take on Zay Flowers. I thought he'd be above average, but not much more. Cooper Kupp, 28.6. Hopkins, 5.9. Geno Smith, 16.74 in your Superflex. On your bench, Cooper Rush, 17.36. Sorry, people are making moves in leagues. Javonte Williams, 18.7. What a freaking week. After Audric Estime was talked about being the guy, and then all of a sudden this happens. He doesn't do crap in this game. Raven McLeod, 10 points. Kittle was out. Harsh. Good matchup. Good win, Austin. Next matchup, we have notorious CTE Bryce Kipp, 3-8 on the season, sitting in the 11th spot, right above me, with 138 points on the week versus 184 by Bend Over and Take It, Chad Crevens. 7-4 on the season, sitting in the 4th spot. That just sucks that you end up facing a guy that goes the freak off this week. Crazy. But Chad's team, I'll say Chad's team look like this. Joey B, 29 points. He's really taken off towards the end of the season. Doesn't matter the matchup. He's damn near 30 points. It feels like the last 4 games is just almost 30 points in each. He's playing really well. Looks good. Too bad that they just keep losing. Don't know how, but they keep losing. Saquon Barkley, 33.8 points. I expected a solid season, good season. I did not expect this. This dude is balling out every game, it seems like. I know he's had some average games, but still yet. This dude is just wrecking it this year. I love seeing it. I love seeing Giants players leave that fucking shit of an organization and going somewhere where they can thrive. And Philly's it. I don't like Philly all that much. But I like Barkley. I'm glad to see it for him. You have James Cook, 19.7. Didn't have much of a take on him. George Pickens, my guy, 16.9. He's been kind of up and down, but with a quarterback change and things like that, and it's kind of hard to gauge what's going to happen there. I think, early on, I thought he was around 20-ish type receiver in the rankings. I think he's about there. I think he's like right there. I'll go ahead and look. He's 17, so I'm not too far off. I kind of assume that's kind of where he'd be. He's going to have, he's just one of those guys. It's very big play dependent, or used to be. I think that's kind of changing because of QB play. Yeah, there's that. There's something else I was going to say. I didn't expect the Steelers to be this good. They look pretty solid. I will say that I did think the Steelers were going to trade for a wide receiver. Like a lot. Like it was talked about all the time. That they were interested in a ton of guys. And I'm sure they were, but they're smart about it, They do their thing. They know what they need. I love that. That's the reason I love the Steelers so much is they're a smart organization. Now, that's probably a lot to do to Mike Tomlin. Glad to have him. But it is what it is. I was wrong about that. Sort of right on the George Pickens. We'll still see how that entails. David Njoku, 19 points. Nice. I don't even know. I don't have takes on him. Josh Jacobs, 23.4. I was wrong about him. I thought to this point he would either be out or just underproducing. I think a lot of that had to do with the Raiders had me fooled. I trusted that the Raiders was trying to use him so much, and he just last year didn't have a good year. And it should have been a good year because he was it. He was the team, basically, outside of Devontae Adams, I get. But he just didn't look good. So I thought when they brought him at Green Bay, it was a contract structured for basically a 1-year deal if he didn't pan out. And it looks like he is. He looks good. So I was wrong about that one. I'll give you that. Waddle, 5.7. To this point, I was wrong about the entire Miami offense for the most part, except Achane. Achane, however you want me to pronounce it. I was definitely right on Achane because I assumed he would be incredible. And, of course, Tua threw that whole thing, that whole situation, through a spiral. It's kind of hard to go about that. Bo Nix in your super flex, what a freaking season for him. What a rookie season. I think he's on track to be one. Well, Jaden Daniels has been incredible too. But, man, their schedule. Now that you look up, like if you pull up Bo Nix's schedule, it's just a bunch of really good matchups. Really good matchups. Very, very consistent numbers. You got a 21, 23, 14, 29, 18, 16, 28. Dude looks legit, though. I'm very upset that I let him go. I had him. I traded him. I had him. I traded him. You know the gist. Everyone knows what I did. Looks good. I thought he would be good. I didn't expect this, though. Great. Jonathan Brooks on your bench. Obviously, he was out on bye this week, but I did have a take on him. I thought he would be back within 3 or 4 weeks. I knew he's probably going to start the season on IR, and then he'd be back at like week 5, 6, and that's definitely not the case. It's week 11, and he's finally coming back. So that's an uptick. We'll see what he looks like. But I don't know, man. Chuba Hubbard looks very good, and that team's just not going anywhere. So I guess we'll see how that kind of goes about. Cam Akers, 11. Didn't have much of a take on Akers. I just don't care for him. Keon Coleman, I'd say I was kind of high on him. He can still pan out. Rookie, it's kind of hard to really have a take on rookies. Geno Smith on your bench, 28 points. Couldn't have ever seen that coming. I did have a take on Pat Freiermuth. I thought he'd be a lot better under Art Smith's offense because he typically likes his tight ends. Has not panned out that way. And Veely, the Denver wide receiver, 10 points on your Texie spot. Good win. Notorious CTE. His team looked like this. He has Patrick Mahomes, 17 points on the week. He's been very consistent, and that's about what you can say for him. Swift, 16 points on the week. I did not think he would pan out. I've never thought he would pan out. He just does not look like an NFL-type running back to me from what I've seen. This year, he's proved me wrong a lot more than right. So there's that. J.K. Dobbins, 18.9 points. I didn't have a take on him. I didn't even know if he'd be healthy. Courtland Sutton, 14.8. Lad McConkey, 18.3. Me and Austin went kind of a debate between him and Rome Odunze. And it kind of centered around who would be the better receiver this year and over time. I took Rome over time, and he kind of said, well, Lad is probably going to be the guy for right now. And so I think we were both right on that. I can't say I'm right because time will tell with Rome, but he's definitely, I'll give it up to Austin. He was right about this year. Lad looks legit. He's got to be one of the top targets on that team. He is the top target on that team and looks good. That offense is rolling a lot better than I thought it would have. You had Schultz with 8.3. Not much of a take on him. Just never really cared for him. Travis Etienne, 6.3. I'll tell you what. Never really cared for Etienne. Didn't have much of a take on him either, but I just not one of those guys. I just don't really care for him. I don't know what it is about him. Maybe it's because he plays for Jacksonville and the team's just been as bad as rooting for the Raiders or Giants or the Cowboys. No, I'm kidding. Cowboys have talent. I don't even know. Metcalf, 14 points. Tua, finally, coming alive, 23.52. Took playing the Raiders to do it, though. So that's the only upsetting part about it. On your bench, Michael Pittman, 9.6. I bring that up because he's another one of those guys I just don't care for. I don't think he's like the guy for that team. I think Josh Downs is the guy for that team. I know that a lot of people are going to blame it on the quarterback situation. Fair enough. I get that. I just don't think Pittman is. I think he's overhyped in a lot of ways. A lot of people look at him like a top 15 receiver. I don't. I think he's right around the 24 mark, and that's still pretty good. But that's probably as high as he goes for me. And I probably wouldn't even put him that high. I don't know what it is about him. Just don't care. Quentin Johnston, 12.8. What a surprise of a season he's having. Consistently doing what he's doing. Proving me wrong. I thought he was pretty well done after his rookie season, which is harsh to say because you just, you don't know. Isaiah Likely, 9.5. I don't know why I brought that up. I didn't really have a take on him. And that was all. Good matchup. Good win, Chad. Next matchup. Hawk, Tua, Hugo, Rodriguez, 162 points on the week versus 145 by Laporta Potty, Sheldon Sturgill, who is 4-7 on the season, sitting in the 10th spot. Hawk Tua is 7-4, sitting in the 3rd spot. We'll go over Hawk Tua's team first. Brock Purdy, 19.36. I was wrong on Purdy. I thought he was at best average, and he's looked pretty good this season. Ken Walker, 13.9. I told a lot of people I think he was going to be a pretty high running back this year, probably top 10. He's not. He's at 18 right now, but I don't see how though. Every time you look at his games, it's like, oh, I missed games. That's why. He missed some games, but his numbers for the most part he's only had one game under double digits. So I feel pretty good about that one. I think that'll pan out later on. Joe Mixon, 35.3. I thought he would be good. Not that good. 35 points on the week. Sheesh. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 38 points on the week. Very nice from him. I think that he is who he is. He's a good wide receiver. A.J. Brown, 11 points on the week. Kyle Pitts, 1.9. I kind of seen this coming from him. You just don't know when to start him. It's kind of up and down. It's a tough season. Deebo Samuel, 6.1. T. Higgins, 29.8. When he plays, dude, he puts numbers up. I'll give that to him. I didn't know that was going to happen. Kirk Cousins, 5.9 in your Superflex spot. I thought he'd be a lot better this year. Not so much. Not so much. Now that I'm going through these, I mean, a lot of these guys, like, not big names, I've been kind of wrong on. But I feel like most of the actual big names, the players that make a difference, I was pretty well right. But I'm wrong on a lot of these startable players, I guess you could say. Bryce Young, who was on bye, I also thought he would be pretty solid. I know after his rookie year, obviously he was hated on, digged on, said he was pretty well washed. And then they brought in their head coach, Dave Canales, and I thought there was hope. I'm like, he's done so well with the last few QBs. I bet with Bryce Young, he brings him back to life, Really does something for him. And no, no, he didn't. Now, lately, he's looked better. Maybe he needed to just be benched, Seen that another, a vet could also look like crap in that offense. And we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. I think I might just be right about him. He might be solid. We just got to give that time. I could be wrong. Tony Pollard, 4.9. I don't like Tony Pollard. I really don't. I think the only year I was kind of high on him was with Dallas. The year that Zeke left. And I was like, should be good. And he wasn't. I was wrong about that one then. And this year, I thought he would still be pretty bad. And he's been okay. Probably better. I'd say he's been better than okay. He's been good-ish, which is weird to say. I already talked about Hubbard. He was on bye. Great season. Zach Charbonnet, 2.5. He's in a great situation. He's proved me right that when, Walker's out, he looks good. The dude's a legit running back. A.D. Mitchell, 4.5. Didn't have much of a take on him. That was all on that team. Shelke's team. Will Levis. Wasn't a Will Levis guy. I don't know a lot of people were, but I know Sheldon Sturgill was. He was pretty high on him. Thought he would pan out, and I don't think he has. Lately, 19 points, 16 points, and he has a really good schedule coming up. Like, every game all the way to the end of the season is great matchups. So, you might be looking all right, actually, on that. Will Levis might come pull through. I didn't notice. That's all right. Devon Achane, 20 points this week. I feel like I was pretty well right on him. A lot of people said that Raheem Mostert's still there. Man, there's still going to be, there's injuries to consider and everything like that. I understand that. But Achane, I feel like I was very right on him. I thought he'd be incredible this year. I kept telling everybody he's like a top 5 back. And if he's not, he's probably not. He's 8 right now. Yeah. I think he will be a top 5 back. I'll stick with that. I know that stretch without Tua was tough. Was very tough on him. He did not do crap. Nobody in that offense did crap. So, It's kind of, Kyron Williams, 8.6. My only take on him was good running back, but I thought Blake Corum getting brought in was going to really hurt his stock. And I don't think it really did. He hasn't been playing very well lately, but for the most part, he's looked good. Devontae Adams, 13.2. Didn't have much to take on him, I don't think. Taysom Hill, 42.52 on the week. Everybody knows Taysom is going to, like, 2 or 3 times a year. The dude just puts up some crazy-ass numbers, and then you're going to want to start him, and just you don't know which one to do, you know? I don't like players like that. But whether you had to or not, that was a great start. Great week to do it. Drake London, 9.1. He's pleasantly surprised everybody. Puka Nacua, 25.3. He's the wide receiver 1 in this offense now. I'm sorry. I mean, he is. He's over Kupp. He's getting more targets. He's taking it over. And I think I'll stick with that. I think he's good. Russell Wilson, 7.3 on your Superflex spot. They still got the dub, so I ain't complaining. The only thing I said about Russell Wilson is I didn't think he'd be the starter for long. And obviously he was hurt to start the season, so that kind of threw it all off. And I was at first. I knew he was either going to get benched or get hurt, and then it was going to be Justin Fields' show. I was obviously wrong about that because of the circumstances. I was right, and then I was wrong. Take it for what you will. Justin Fields looked good. Not great. I didn't expect great, but I figured good. And he looked good. Offense just operates a lot better with Russell Wilson. I don't know about matchups, whether that has played a part in it, but Wilson's looked good in this offense. It really works. So, hope he stays healthy and they make a run in playoffs. That would be great. I'll take it. I'll fight being wrong as long as the team succeeds. I'll take it. Caleb Williams, 16.24 on your bench. I don't really know what to say about him. I don't even know it's necessarily a him problem. I think it's the Bears are just a shit organization, man. And I think everybody knows that. It's a shit organization. Sorry I look high. I am extremely tired for some reason. I think my wife gave me something. Some calm, some drink that is makes you tired. And I, for some reason, drank it about 45 minutes ago, and it's kicking in, boys. Dang. Sheesh. On by, you had Tyrone Tracy. I had a take on him. I 100% was right on him. I knew that he would easily take over for Devin Singletary. Why? Because I don't like Devin Singletary at all. I don't think he's good. Never have. And Tyrone Tracy was talked about, hyped up, and he looked good. I didn't see a lot of video on Tyrone Tracy, but I just heard so much talk about how this guy could easily take over that backfield, and he did, and he is, and he looks legit in it. A lot of people hated on me because I included him in a lot of trades, and I told him about Tyrone Tracy, and I think you guys can go eat a foot. Go eat something, because I feel like I was pretty right on that one. Austin Eckler, that's one I'll say that I was wrong on. 17.6. Of course, that whole entire offense I was probably wrong on. I didn't expect all of them to work so well together. Cliff Kingsbury's doing something right, I think. They look good. Austin Eckler fits the system, looks great. He's not even the main back, but he's putting up the numbers like he is. It's kind of like a Jahmyr Gibbs Montgomery situation there. I like it. And I was wrong about it. Najee Harris, 13.3. Another one I was very much right on. A lot of people were talking crap saying that Jaylen Warren was the main back to this offense, and I said no, he is not. If he is the better back, he still will not be the better back in this offense. Najee Harris will be the guy, and I got flack for that. And I would like to say I feel very confident I was right on that one. To this point, I don't want to say that that's like set in stone because obviously things can change, but I feel very good about that one. Najee's looked pretty good this season. Not great, not overly fantastic, but from his perspective, from his averages from the past years, he's looking pretty good in this offense scheme. On your bench, you also had Josh Downs, 19.4. Want to guess my take on him? I've already said it, so I won't do that again. He's the guy in that offense. I feel very confident in that. With both QBs, he looks like he's the guy. He just makes stuff happen. Love it. Laporta on your bench. Out this week, obviously. I only mentioned that because I didn't draft him anything because there was a lot of talk that he's just not going to do what he did last year. And that's very, very true. He's not. But he's still very young and talented, so especially in a dynasty, he's worth taking. So I'm not hating on it. But I feel like I was right about that. I think it was a good call on my part for not drafting him as high as what people would. But of course, again, dynasty, it's kind of tough because any given year he could just be the guy again. You know what I mean? Pacheco on IR, I didn't have much of a take for that. I don't think. And that is all for that matchup. Next matchup, Scranton Stranglers, Colton Wimberley. 5-6 on the season, sitting in the 9th spot, just outside of playoffs, with 115 points. Gets the win this week to 101 by Lot Lizard, Stephen Lott. 5-6 as well, sitting in the 8th spot. So you guys are right there tussling here. You needed that win to make playoffs. And all you got to do is make playoffs, guys. That's all you got to do. You make it into there, and who knows what'll happen. Stephen Lott can contest to that. He's won a league, or he's coming second in a league where he just made it in barely. And went all the way to the championship. Didn't win it, sadly, for him. But still yet. And you wouldn't have thought with the team that he constructed that he would have done it. Of course, everybody's probably have some similar stories based on that. Scranton Stranglers. His team looked like this. Matthew Stafford, 27. Very good week. Breece Hall, 31. I was extremely high on Breece Hall. I thought he was the definitely top 3 back. I still think, especially in a dynasty, he will be. He's top 5 right now. Mostly because the 31 points he just put up this week. But again, this offense sucks to watch. Breece and Garrett Wilson were like the reason for watching him. And it's just, you don't know what you're going to get. I don't like the offense. Sadly, I think I'd take Zach Wilson over Aaron Rodgers because you knew what you were getting. But whatever. Again, my bad. Carrying away. Jonathan Taylor, 7 points. I had him as a top 6 back, I think, is where I had him. He's freaking 25 right now. He did miss a chunk of games. He's had a pretty solid year. There's still some games to go. We'll see how that turns out. But to this point, I'm wrong. JSN, 21. Another guy I feel extremely confident that I was right about. I drafted him a lot of places. I thought he would be the number 1 pass catcher for the Seattle Seahawks. I even wrote it down on a deal in a league, claiming that he would be the number 1 pass catcher, and I think he is. I think if he isn't, he will be. Proved it this game. Both him and DK both played, both healthy, and he came with 10 catches and 110 yards. Matchups, I do know, play a factor, but Jason looks good, and he looks very promising. I like him. I feel pretty good about that one. Jalen Hurts, 18.7. I didn't have nothing to say about him. It's still Jalen Hurts. You get what you get. On your bench, I didn't have much to say about Chris Olave. He's on IR. Kincaid, I'll say I was wrong about that one. I thought he would definitely be a top 3 tight end this year. But it's just not panning out that way. I don't know what happened between him and Josh Allen that just kind of derailed this year, but it's just not happening to the degree you would want or expect. And that is all for the Scranton Stranglers. Lot Lizard, your team looked like this. I'm sorry, this is dragging on a little further than I would have anticipated. His team looked like this. Justin Herbert, 24 points. To start of the season, I felt like I was very right on this. That offense was very run heavy, and I didn't think that Justin Herbert would ever surpass like 17 points on any given week because it just doesn't feel like he could do anything. They weren't throwing enough. Nothing was really happening. And then here, as of late, the dude is just, that whole offense is operating great. So that's one I was pretty wrong on, I would say. Things could change. It could be just a stretch, but I still feel like I was pretty wrong about that one. Jaden Reed, 9.8. Where's he sitting at? Still top 12 receiver. I don't really know how. When you look at his numbers, that week 1 is definitely what's carrying him with 33 freaking points. And week 4, he had 27. Another one of those guys, in my opinion, that you just don't know when to start them. They have the talent, they have the offense, but you just don't know when they're going to get it. Calvin Ridley, 9.8. I didn't have much of a take on him. Mark Andrews, 4.2. He's been above average. At points, very low. At some points, very high. You know what it is. Tank Dell, I've already told you the whole situation with that one. I feel like he's doing exactly what I thought. He was going to be the number 2 or 3 receiver on that offense. With Diggs going down, that kind of helped. Nico been hurt a lot. That kind of helped. But even when they were hurt, he wasn't doing much. He had a few games of 18, and that was it. So I feel pretty good about my view on that one. Sam Darnold, 23. I think we all know we were all wrong about that one. That's crazy that he has had the season he's had. Shown that he can still be Sam Darnold as of old, but overall, I think we all know that he's far surpassed what we all expected. DJ Moore, 13 points on your bench. Didn't have much for him. Khalil Shakir, 15 points. I think he's done above what I thought. Yeah, he's been very, very, very consistent. Double digits almost all season long, but one game. I was wrong. I was definitely wrong about him. I thought they would trade for somebody, bring him in, and I guess they did. They brought Amari Cooper in. That's kind of recent, so we'll see how that goes. I was right about a few things. Wrong on Shakir, though. Alec Pierce, 10 points. And that was all for that matchup. The final matchup, the Goods, Austin P. 316, sitting at 7-4 on the season, sitting in the 5th spot, versus Trades for Days, myself, 0-11, like I wanted to be. 82 points on the week. I'm still trying out here. I'm still trying. Not winning, but I'm trying. Austin's team. Jordan Love, 21. Demario Douglas, 10. I was pretty high on Demario Douglas as a player. Not that offense. I didn't care for the offense. Excuse me. Brock Bowers, 31.3. I think everybody knows if anybody asked me about Brock Bowers, I was extremely high on Brock Bowers. And you're probably wondering, why'd you trade him? Because I trade everybody. But anybody asked me, they know I was very, very high on Brock Bowers, even though he went to the Raiders and that they expected that offense to not be great. And he was going to be used as a blocking tight end and so on and so forth. He's undersized. I said he would be used as more like a wide receiver than a tight end. Like this is what he is. He's that good. And I feel like I was extremely right on that. But yet I still traded him, so my loss. So, still looks pretty dumb for me to have done that. Jaylen Warren, 10 points on the week. CJ Stroud, 11.88. I was semi-right on that. I just didn't think he would have as good of a year as last year, and he's not. But it's been a lot of changes there in Houston, so it's kind of hard to get a gauge on what was going to happen. On your bench, Brian Robinson, 14.2. That offense looks great. Didn't see that. Tajay Spears, I thought he would be a lot better in that offense. Definitely not. Rome Odunze, 12.5. Solid week for him. Time will tell on that. Brian Thomas, 13.6. I didn't really have a gauge on that. Malik Neighbors. I'll tell you that. I mean, Austin will definitely tell you that. Well, with Malik Neighbors, I was definitely trying to talk him down like he wasn't going to do anything. And that offense being as shit as they are. But he started off really strong. He's kind of fell off a little bit. But I think with the upcoming matchups and the change at QB, I think we'll see some stuff. Justin Jefferson, 14.1. I thought he would be good, but not great. And I think he's definitely proven that he's great. Still yet with this year, of course, with Sam Darnold, that's why I thought he wasn't going to be as good. But didn't matter. He's still Jefferson. Jamar Chase, 26.5. These are all players on your bench. Why were they on your bench? Why were you trying to lose to me? That's weird. Makes no sense, dog. Why'd you bench all these players? I mean, you didn't have to play them, I guess. Because you still would have won. It's just weird that you did that. It is whatever. I don't care. You won still. And that was all for your team. There's not a lot to say about my team. I feel solid in my team. Obviously, it's incomplete because of all the draft picks, so we'll see where that goes. But Drake May, I think he's one of the better rookie QBs. Up there with potentially Nix. Nix has just looked really good, but that offense is very developed, and that's a really good offensive line. May does not have weapons. But I like everything I see out of the guy. Looks good to me. Polk, the receiver for New England, I thought he was going to be a lot better. But I think time will tell on him. Anthony Richardson. The only thing I got to say about that is what a timely trade. I am super satisfied that I got him back after trading him like 3 times. I finally got him back, and what a freaking week. 28 points on the week. 19 from Nikini Westbrook. I screwed that name entirely up. 19.7 points for him. On my bench, I was dumb and didn't fix my lineup. MVS, 16 points. Marvin Mims, 13.3. I was wrong about him. I thought he'd be way more involved in this offense because Sean Payton lied to me. I assumed that he would be a very big part of this offense. He has not been up until the last game. Noah Gray, 18 points on my bench. I like him. I do like him. I think he's Kelsey's replacement. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And that was all. I'd say a major mistakes of the week, but I don't really know who to put that on. I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything that really stood out too much. Was there like a matchup that was that close? I don't think so. So probably not. I'm probably not going to give that one out. I don't think. I say Stephen Lott maybe. That game was close, but I don't know. There's much you could have done if you would have started all your. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. There wasn't one. And that is all. I'm sorry this dragged on a lot longer than it probably should have. I don't know. I am just out of it, dude. It was not my day. Busy day. But I appreciate you guys listening in. If you finished through this whole video, bravo. I don't know how. Off to week 12. Hope to see you guys.